In a jungle filled with tall trees and lush green grass lived a small lion cub named Bubby. Bubby had golden fur that shimmered in the sunlight and a brave heart that loved exploring every corner of the wild jungle. He was quick, clever, and always eager for adventure. But there was one thing that scared him more than anything else: the King Cobra, the largest and most dangerous snake in the jungle. The King Cobra wasn't just feared for its size, but also for its cunning and wisdom. It was said to be as old as the jungle itself and had the ability to see and understand everything around it. While most animals tried to stay far away from the King Cobra, Bubby couldn't help but wonder what it would be like to face his fear. One sunny afternoon, as Bubby played with his friends, monkeys swinging from vines and parrots squawking above, he heard a loud hiss from the depths of the jungle. It wasn't the usual sound of a snake. This hiss was deeper, almost commanding. Bubby's heart raced as he turned to see the shadow of the King Cobra slithering toward the clearing. All the animals froze. The monkeys stopped mid-swing, the birds went silent, and even the trees seemed to hold their breath. The King Cobra had arrived, and with it, a sense of mystery. Bubby, feeling both afraid and curious, stepped forward. "What brings you to our jungle, mighty King Cobra?" he asked, his voice shaking just a little. The King Cobra's eyes gleamed like emeralds. "I have come to offer you a challenge, little lion," it said in a voice as smooth as silk. "There is a hidden part of the jungle, a place where the sun never sets and the air smells of sweet nectar. It is a place that only those who are truly brave can find. I will give you a chance to discover it. If you can pass the tests I set for you, you will be rewarded. But if you fail, you will never find your way back home." Bubby's heart pounded in his chest. The jungle was full of mysteries, but he had never heard of this place. Despite his fear of the King Cobra, Bubby knew this was a challenge he couldn't pass up. "I accept your challenge," he declared boldly. The King Cobra smiled, revealing its sharp fangs. "Very well, little lion. Your first test will be one of courage." The King Cobra led Bubby through the thick jungle, down hidden paths that even the animals of the jungle didn't know. They soon arrived at the edge of a high cliff. The ground below was covered in a deep fog that made it impossible to see what lay beneath. The trees on either side of the cliff stretched far above, casting long, dark shadows over the area. "This is the Cliff of Shadows," said the King Cobra, its voice echoing in the air. "To move forward, you must jump from this cliff into the fog below. But beware, the shadows may trick you. Not everything you see is real." Bubby's eyes widened. The fog looked thick and endless, and the shadows seemed to move as if alive. Bubby had never jumped from such a high place before. His legs shook with doubt. "You can do it, Bubby," a voice from behind called out. It was his best friend, a monkey named Miko, who had followed them to watch. "Remember, you're braver than you think." Bubby took a deep breath, and with all the courage he could muster, leaped into the fog. For a moment he couldn't see anything, and his heart raced. Was he falling into nothingness? Then suddenly his paws landed firmly on solid ground. The fog cleared, and he realized he had made it to the other side of the cliff. "Congratulations, Bubby," the King Cobra hissed. "You passed the first test, but now for the second test, wisdom." They continued their journey until they reached a wide river with waters as clear as glass. But something strange was happening. The river was flowing backward against the current. "This is the Enchanted River," the King Cobra explained. "The river is known to confuse those who are not wise. To cross it, you must find the hidden bridge that lies beneath the water. But beware, there are many false paths. Only the wise can find the right one." Bubby stared at the river. There was no way to see beneath the clear water, and the current was strong. His first instinct was to jump in and swim across, but something told him that might be a mistake. He thought for a moment. His mind raced as he looked around. Then he remembered something his father had told him. "When you're faced with a difficult challenge, don't rush. Think before you act." Bubby began to walk along the river's edge, scanning the water carefully. After a while, he spotted something unusual, a faint shimmer beneath the surface. He carefully stepped into the river, and following the shimmer, he found a hidden stone path leading across the river. The King Cobra watched silently, impressed. "You have passed the second test, young lion. Now the final test awaits." They soon arrived at the heart of the jungle, where the trees grew thick and tall, and the air smelled of sweet nectar. The king cobra stopped and turned to Bubby. "This is the heart of the jungle," the king cobra said. "In this place, there is only one way forward. You must face your greatest fear. The path ahead is shrouded in darkness, and only those who are truly brave can walk through it." Bubby felt a chill run down his spine. He had faced so many challenges already, but this test was different. He had to face his fear of the king cobra itself. The idea of standing up to the snake that terrified him most was almost too much to bear. But then he remembered the lessons he had learned: courage, wisdom, and now he needed something more: belief in himself. Bubby closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and stepped into the darkness. The path was narrow, and every step felt heavier than the last. The shadows seemed to close in around him, and Bubby could feel his heart race. But instead of turning back, he kept moving forward. He felt his fear, but he didn't let it stop him. Slowly, the darkness began to lift, and he saw the light shining ahead. Finally, he emerged from the darkness, and the king cobra was waiting for him with a proud smile. "You have passed all 3 tests, Bubby," the king cobra said. "You are brave, wise, and strong. But most importantly, you have learned that true courage comes from within." As a reward, the king cobra led Bubby to the hidden grove, the magical place where the sun never set and the air smelled of sweet nectar. The grove was filled with flowers of every color, and the animals who lived there were peaceful and kind. "You now know what it takes to be truly courageous, Bubby," the king cobra said. "Remember, courage isn't about being fearless. It's about facing your fears and moving forward despite them." Bubby felt proud, but also grateful. He had learned that courage wasn't about being the strongest or the fastest. It was about believing in yourself and never giving up. From that day on, Bubby was no longer afraid of the king cobra or anything else in the jungle. He had faced his fears, and now he knew that true bravery came from the heart.